Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mr. E143. So for today's video, we are going to learn about the basic concept or ideas about the isosceles and equilateral triangle. Okay, so isosceles and equilateral triangle. Okay, so parts of an isosceles triangle. So, as we observe in the picture, we have the triangle. Kung makikita natin, meron tayong triangle 1 to 3. And then, as we observe, meron tayong 1 to 3. So, 1 is the vertex angle. Makikita natin. And we have the legs. Okay? Legs, which are the 2 and 3. The base angles and the base. So, note that the base is the side opposite the vertex angle. Then, tandaan na not necessarily the side on the bottom. So, hindi ibig sabihin na always nasa bottom ang vertex or ang opposite side of the triangle. So, yung dalawa dyan is the base angles. Lagi natin tandaan na yung opposite or the base is the side opposite the vertex angle. So, always opposite siya ng vertex angle. So, isosceles triangle theorem. If two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite side are congruent. So, gaya na nakikita natin na triangle sa baba, we have the red triangle ABC. So, tandaan na in isosceles triangle, if two sides are triangle are congruent, ibig sabihin yung dalawang sides ng triangle are congruent, ibig sabihin, then the angles opposite, yung mga angles na opposite sides na yon ay congruent din. Okay? So, gaya ng line or the side AB is equally congruent to side CB. So, this implies that the angle A is equally congruent to angle C. Okay? So, converse of the isosceles triangle theorem. Ang converse niya naman ito, if two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite those angles are congruent. So, parang kabaliktaran niya. Okay? So, dito naman, if two angles of a triangle are congruent, kapag ang dalawang angles ng triangle are congruent, then the side opposite ay congruent din. Okay? So, gaya ng blue triangle sa below at ang sa baba. Okay, so angle D, okay, we have the angle D is equally congruent to angle F. Okay, this implies that the side DE is equally congruent to side FE. Then, we have also the equilateral triangle, Corollary. So, if a triangle is equilateral, then it is equiangular. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag ang triangle is equilateral, so, yung mga angles niya ay parehas. Okay? So, we have the side AB, okay, is equally congruent to side BC. Then, equally congruent to side CA. So, lahat ng side niya, lahat ng angles niya ay congruent. This implies also that the angle A, angle B, and angle C, or angle A is equally congruent to angle B, equally congruent to angle C. Okay, the converse of the equilateral triangle, corollary, if a triangle is equiangular, okay, then it is equilateral. So, kabaliktaran lang niya. So, gaya ng example sa baba, we have the triangle DEF. So, angle D is equally congruent to angle E, equally congruent to angle F. Okay? And then, of course, the opposite niya, this implies that the sides, all of the sides, so side DE is equally congruent to side EF, equally congruent to side FD. Okay, so let's have a simple practice. 1 to 3. What is the measure of the angle S in the given triangle SKY? Number 2, measure of the angle K. So, again, in the given triangle SKY, And number 3 is the measure of angle S in the triangle below, ang pang second na triangle. So i-try nyo daw. So try natin. So ang mapapansin natin sa triangle ay isosceles siya. Ibig sabihin, kung yun ang angle K is the vertex angle, ibig sabihin yung dalawang sides ay parehas. Meaning, yung angle S dyan, so 35, ang angle Y, so angle S would be 35 also. Okay. Then, the measure of angle K, so i-add natin. So, try natin mga sagot. Okay. Yan. So, correct. Sabihin, ang measure of the angle S would be 35 degrees. Parehas sila ng angle Y. So, it is isosceles triangle. And then, sa number 2, ang angle K natin, or ang measure of the angle K. So, alam natin, ang isang buong triangle is pinubuo siya ng 180 degrees. So, i-add lang natin. We have 180 minus, i-add natin yung dalawang 35. That would be 70. So, i-minus natin 180 minus 70 would be 110 degrees. Meaning, the measure of the angle K is equal to 110 degrees. The third one, the last one, we have the measure of angle S in the second triangle, S or AES. So, kung mapapansin natin, ang magiging vertex angle natin, that's another isosceles triangle, iba lang ang kanyang position. So, kung mapapansin natin, ang vertex natin is the angle A. Okay, so meaning, ang dalawang side na yan, na opposite sa angle A, would be parehas ng angle. Okay, so, ang kanyang solution would, again, 180 degrees, kasi ang buong triangle, minus 22, which is the vertex angle, is equal to 158. So, 150 divided natin ng 2, we have 79 degrees. So, kahit hindi natin titingnan yan, alam natin doon na ito ay isosceles triangle, meaning, ang angle A niya is the vertex of the angle. Ang opposite niya, opposite sides would be, or opposite angles would be parehas. So, 79 and 79. Okay, so use isosceles and equilateral triangle. Classify each triangle by its sides. So, 1, 2, 3, again, another 2 centimeter, number 1, 2 centimeter, 2 centimeter, and number 2, 7 feet, 11 feet, and 7 feet. Then, the last one, 9 meters, 8 meters, and 10 meters. So, okay, so answer would be number 1 is equilateral kasi pare-pareha sila ng measure. Then the second one, isosceles kasi meron siyang dalawang side na parehas. You have the 7 feet and 7 feet and then isang 11 feet. The third one is an scalene triangle. Scalene triangle kasi magkakaiba sila. We have 9 meters, 8 meters, and 10 meters. Okay, legs. The legs of an isosceles triangle are two congruent sides. Okay, so tandaan natin, ang legs of isosceles triangle, yung legs ng isosceles triangle are the two congruent sides. Okay, ang dalawang legs ng isosceles triangle is congruent sila. Ibig sabihin, parehas sila ng measure. The vertex angle of an isosceles triangle is the angle formed by the legs. Okay, so ang vertex angle naman ng isosceles triangle ay ang angle niya formed by the legs. Okay, so is the angle formed by the legs. So yun ang vertex angle. So the base of an isosceles triangle is the side that is not a leg. Okay, that is not a leg. Ang base ng isosceles triangle. Base angles, we have the base angles of an isosceles triangle are the two angles adjacent to the base. Theorem 4.7, base angles theorem. So gaya kanina, if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite them are congruent. Okay? So if in the triangle in the right side, okay, we have the triangle ABC, which is example of isosceles triangle. If side AB is equally congruent to side AC, then the angle B is equally congruent to angle C. Then Theorem 4.8, Converse of the base angles theorem. If two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite them are congruent. Okay, so converse lang niya. We have if angle B is equally congruent to angle C, then AB or side AB is equally congruent to side AC. Okay, example number 1, in triangle DEF, DE or side DE is equally congruent to side DF. Name two angles. So, okay, a solution, we have the side DE is equally congruent to side DF. So, by the base angle theorem, which is the angle E is equally congruent to angle F. Okay, so another guided practice, copy and complete each statement. If side edge G is equally congruent to side edge K, then angle blank is equally congruent to angle blank. So, ang given natin ay nandyan sa right side na dalawang triangle. Number 2 naman, if angle KHJ is equally congruent to angle KJH, then blank is equally congruent to blank. Okay, so answer. So then, angle HJK is equally congruent to HKJ. So number 2 naman, then the side KH is equally congruent to side KJ. So corollary to the base angles theorem, if a triangle is equilateral, then it is equiangular. So corollary to the converse of the base angle theorem, if a triangle is equiangular, then it is equilateral. Example number 2, find the measures of the angle P, angle Q, and angle R. So the diagram shows that the triangle PQR is equilateral. Okay, by the corollary to the base angles theorem, so the triangle PQR is equiangular kasi pare-para sila ng measure. So the measure of angle P is equal to measure of angle Q equal to the measure of angle R. So ang gagawin natin, we have 3 times the measure of the angle P is equal to 180 degrees by triangle sum theorem. So measure of angle P is equal to 60. So divide each side by 3. Of course, diba, 180. Since equiangular and equilateral, then or equilateral and equiangular, ibig sabihin pare-parehas. So divide natin ng 3. We have or ang 180 degrees. So normally that's 60 degrees. So find the measures of the angle P, angle Q, and angle R. So yan na siya. So answer, the measure of angle P, angle Q, and angle R are all 60 degrees. So yan ang sagot niya. Next, we have guided practice again by the given triangle STU. Find ST in the triangle at the right. Is it possible for an equilateral triangle to have an angle measure other than 60 degrees? Explain. Okay. ST in the triangle at the right, since equilateral siya, kung mapapansin natin an equiangular, so that the answer would be 5. So, ang side SC natin is 5. Next, is it possible for an equilateral triangle to have angle measure other than 60? Okay, definitely no. because the triangle sum theorem and the fact that the triangle is equilateral guarantees that the angles measured 60 degrees because all pairs of angles could be considered base angles of an isosceles triangle. Okay, so that's all. So I hope may nakuha kayong idea or mga basic concept, basic idea ng isosceles and equilateral triangle. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.